Yo, what's good? I'm Jess Murillo, longtime creative, marketing professional, philosophy enthusiast, and bald girl. Living through life's experiences, I've figured out our power is in our perspective and that we are the makers of our own reality. Experiencing a full life is all about the way you look at things and how you use those ideas to create your world. On this podcast, we're going to dive into different theories, stories, and philosophies that help you peel back the layers and expose things differently. Showing up here means breaking you free from the shell that has been keeping you small. It's kind of like if a marketing teacher with a crafting hobby and passion for philosophy started a podcast. So if you can wrap your head around that, buckle up, sit back, open your mind, and get ready to break bare of the limiting mindsets that keep us from making the best of this life. This is the Breaking Bare Podcast. I have a short message to deliver to you today, but I do hope it helps you in your journey of breaking bare from your own limiting mindsets. The beginning of the month is usually busy for people, and I wanted to make the episodes a bit shorter so you can keep up on content and still enjoy a spark of inspiration. This week, I have been doing a lot of healing work. My sleep schedule has been so messed up. I've been taking long naps during the day. And while usually I would be trying to diagnose what the problem is, I've been trying to let it be what it is. And I think so often we try to fix and remedy situations. And I'm really feeling into this season of just being, not doing, or having to do, or feeling like I need to do something to be worthy of existing, but just being. I've been trying to become lighter. I don't mean solely in weight, but lighter in spirit. And this involves a lot of cord cutting ceremonies and pattern study and general education around healing mental and emotional wounds, which actually kind of brings me to today's topic. Something I have been thinking deeply about lately is a common sentence we all say that has particularly stood out to me of recent interaction, and it sounds like this: they made me feel. It's a phrase I hear most when coaching people and listening to friends speak. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not above it, and I'm guilty of saying it too. I've been working on breaking the habit. Why? Well, because I believe I am in charge of my own emotional regulation. In fact, I know that I am. And though I do believe people have intention behind what they say, and yes, at times they can intend to hurt, the decision to accept that hurt is solely up to me. And you might immediately feel defensive of this idea, but I'm not in any way saying that it's bad to speak that phrase or to feel hurt by what people express to you. But I instead am here to question your part in accepting that hurt. I'm here to challenge you to take responsibility for your emotion and to make a simple shift in the words from made me feel to let me feel. And what's the difference? Well, your emotions are your responsibility. What people say and do is on them. If people intend to hurt you, meaning they allow their intention to be received by you and allow you to feel how they intend for you to feel, which I think when the intention is hurtful, it could be equally offensive, if not more, than making you feel something. It's still your choice to accept that intention and aggression towards you. Let's break it down. Have you ever said something bitter or pointed and then immediately apologized because you knew it was probably offensive and you could tell your words weren't received well. I think you should pat yourself on the back because that was you taking responsibility for your actions and intentions. You didn't want your actions to make another person feel bad, so you mended them or at least attempted to. The responsibility of our words is real, just like the responsibility of our emotions. When we know that words are self-generated and that we formulate what we say, it's strange to me how we give our power away when it comes to emotions. There's this Eastern parable I've seen circulating the internet, and for good reason. The story is of a monk who chooses to go and meditate away from his monastery. He decides the best place to do this is in a boat out in the middle of a lake. Now, while he's in this peaceful meditation for what feels like hours, he suddenly feels something hit his boat. And he startles and feels a rise of adrenaline and aggressively removes his blindfold to find the other boat that hit his is empty. Now, the self-realization I find usefully illustrated in this story is that the anger is within the monk and that he has the power of his own reaction when bumped or provoked by outside influences. It perfectly outlines the concept of emotions being self-generated and therefore can be self-regulated. Much like we filter our words, we can filter our emotions. We can think things that we're about to say so intensely. Have you ever done that where you're like, I'm about to say this, but then you reel it back? Same thing with emotions. You can about to be feeling some type of way and decide to say a different thing, decide to choose a different emotion. So now that we've found this display of emotions being self-generated and that we have the power to feel what we choose, I want to connect it back to my first observation, which is this phrase, they made me feel. If we are responsible for the words we speak and the intention behind the words, then I think it's obvious we have to fix this habit of phrase. They made me feel. Speaking this hands over our power to people and reactions we have no control over. When we say this, we are choosing a victim's perspective on something we participated in. Something that automatically makes me feel better when I catch myself saying that is I chose to feel mad or I chose to feel sadness, and then I usually state why. It puts the empowerment back in my hands and my control and reminds me that my emotions are my choice. And just like actors can muster themselves to cry, I can also evoke forgiveness and calm and even joy if I choose to. Speaking my emotions this way also keeps me separate from my feelings, which I think is a useful skill to practice because emotions are not who we are or part of us. They are only things we experience. A very common analogy of this is that of the sky and clouds. If we are the sky, emotions are clouds or weather systems passing through. This does not change the fact that the sky is still whole and complete and expansive. It just goes to show that our emotional state is an experience separate from who we are and is in constant evolution. So friends, there you have it. As you go about this week, I hope you can catch yourself before you give the power of your own emotional regulation to others. Remember, emotions are simply chemicals firing off in your body or clouds passing through the sky, and that everything else is just an empty boat. Thanks for tuning in to the Breaking Bear podcast. If you could do me a solid and think of one person in your life who needs this message, could you forward this episode to them with a loving note referencing why you think they should hear this and that you're thinking of them? You would absolutely make my life and be contributing to Serious Good Vibes. My goal and vision for this podcast is to help empower people by facilitating connections and sharing perspectives, so people don't feel so alone in their experience. But I cannot do that without your help in spreading the word. There's a reason you heard this today. So if it raised your vibe, then this is a perfect opportunity to spread love and give the gift of higher consciousness. Thanks again for listening, and as always, I am sending you so much love. I know I just said vibes like 3 times, but I meant it each time. Anyway, hope to hear from you soon, and until next time.